Hey, everybody, welcome back. I want to welcome Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how you doing? How's everybody out there?
Sweating like hogs.
Yeah, me too. I just got in from trying to move some cows, and we've actually planted some trees this morning. This is just regular stuff, and I'm inside and not miserable, so this is good.
Yeah, thanks, man. Also, this is probably everyone's first introduction to Sierra.
Hello. Hi, Sierra.
Hello.
She's awesome. You know her, you love her. Awesome guide, awesome horse trainer, awesome pal, mother of awesome Laylee.
Thank you.
So we're gonna, she's gonna hop on Mystery, and Brandon and Sierra are going to continue his education, and I am going to be learning and watching and talking. What do you think?
That sounds good. Let's give it a shot.
All right, after you.
Perfect.
So as you're leading him out, I got a couple of questions for you. It was, about 2 weeks ago I dropped him back off, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And how many rides have you been able to put on him since then?
Just a couple. He got a pretty good cinch sore.
Uh-oh, okay. So,
I took him, I think he crossed the river once. I took him on the ranch ride once. He was great. He's a little, I'm going to say gun shy, you know, a little timid. But, boy, he has a lot of try and a lot of honesty, this horse.
He does, yeah. He really is forward moving and always looking. He's one of those guys that he will tell you what's going on before you ever get to it.
Yeah.
And so he's got not that many rides on him, and so that's kind of what we're dealing with. Is this is kind of stage 2 of the training where I had him on a good number of times. I worked some cattle on him, very very minimally. Didn't really do any minimal horse type ranch work with him. He does not like ropes. We had him. He was not able to be ridden for about 2 weeks when he put his foot through a fence and cut his near side front foot. Pretty good. It wasn't really super bad, but he's kind of a weenie. We found out he hasn't got a very strong consternation for pain. And so he acted like he was going to die, but he didn't. And so give him some time.
Right.
But the good news was I got right back on him, and it was like I hadn't been away from him on the riding. So that was very, very good.
Yeah. Awesome.
But he wants to look things over. He's very curious and actually quite brave about new things that you see. So I think what we're going to do is, if you've only ridden him a couple times, we really need to ride him, guys, 3, 4, 5 times a week for maybe an hour.
Yeah, as soon as, and he's healed now as of like yesterday. So he's going to be, we're going to take him out a lot.
Okay, yeah, because that's what's important is, and like you say, you got to get him healed up a little bit, but we got to make sure that we continue the riding with him, and it's just a matter of exposing him to everything that you possibly can. And we've had some pretty good rides with him, some unusual things. He's crossed pretty deep water. There's been a lot of issues that we put him through, really tough terrain when I was heading here, so that was really, really good. So what we want to do is kind of work with Sierra on the gating part of him, particularly in the arena is really handy because we can watch, we can see what he's doing, and get her to put her hands in a spot where he is comfortable and yet moving forward. You notice how his head is coming up and down. And I've got a freeze frame at times, so it's a little bit difficult for me to be able to kind of give a lot of really good detailed instruction. I'm actually catching some frames here that show him in a really good walk. His head is up, so if Sierra's got her hands forward and down in front, there we go, he'll drop his head in a little bit, but it might take him 5 minutes of riding before he drops his head. He's a high-headed horse anyway.
And I don't know, he hasn't been in this arena much. I know that when I took him on the 1 hour and I brought him back, and he was a little excited, just a little excited, and I brought him in here and we walked and stood until we calmed down. So he hasn't actually been in this arena too much.
Okay. Well, and you got to remember, everything we're doing here with him is it's new and it's relatively fresh because again he's in the middle of his training. He's not finished.
Mhm.
So we have to kind of preface that with, okay, this is good stuff. Hey Kelly, would you mind grabbing those set of stairs and moving them right about where he's at now?
Sure.
Have you take them to the south, and I'll tell you when to stop, and that way Sierra can stay to the inside of that.
Yeah, gotcha. So he stays on the rail more, so to speak?
Yeah, because we're losing her in the trees. And
here?
Nope, towards the trailers.
Oh, I gotcha.
And then
Out
Jake
here?
will have to follow you over. There you go. Keep going. Now go back into the center of the arena. And take about 3 steps to your left. Other left.
My right, you mean?
Yeah, your left. Go to your left. Jake's got the camera over now. Okay, just put it down right there and have her stay to the inside.
The inside, okay.
Yep.
He wants to stay the inside.
There we go. Now we can see better. Okay. All right. I'm watching some frames freeze here, and when I see the frame freeze, I'm showing 3 really good points of contact with his feet on the ground. So he's walking well. You're not trotting. Sierra, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. How does he feel to you? Is he smooth?
Yeah, he feels a little off.
Okay, and what do you mean by off?
Well, he's definitely losing his feet a little bit, which could be brand new shoes, but he also seems like when he gets going, he has a little limp, but it could be the gait. I'm not sure. Okay. I gait on the others, but I don't notice it as much. Like he wants to bobble a little bit.
He wants to do what?
Bobble pretty good on that left front, it feels like.
Okay, so slow him down just a little bit. And just bump him there. Now? Just bump him with your hands and let him go so that you're not making contact all the time. Now this is something that is a real paradigm shift for most people, and you'll notice when you do that and let him go, how his head has come down. You've slowed him up a little.
See what I mean? Like he just is tripping and I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, it seems like something is weird.
Okay, where are you sitting on his back? Are you sitting forward with that saddle?
Can you hear him?
Yeah, where am I sitting?
He's asking if you're sitting forward.
I don't think so. I think I'm sitting pretty
yeah, we want you to sit forward, not sit way back on his back.
Like, way up here?
Yep.
Okay.
And let's let him walk for a little bit and see what he does.
Yeah, he saw the chiropractor Monday night, Brandon, too, just to make him a little more comfortable. His neck was that was his right front.
Oh, what the hell?
I think, I remember when I rode him, he just feels like a really young horse to me.
He is. Again, he's a young horse. We can't expect him to, and he does trip with me, but you got to remember, I'm 240 pounds, right?
240, Brandon?
Yes. I look more like 800, don't I?
No, you don't. I was saying you were overdoing it.
No, I'm about, a week ago, it was about 235.
There you go.
So what we want to do then is just slow him down a little bit, and we want to get good form. And what that means is we want to hear an even 4-beat gait and a little faster speed. There we go. See that? I see that head nod up and straight up and down, right?
Yes.
And you're a little smoother?
Yeah.
But you're not in a dog walk like you would be with, say, a non-gated horse, right?
Correct.
Okay. So now what we want to do is make sure that we maintain good form. So I want you to listen for, and I know it's going to be hard because you got earbuds in listening to me.
all over.
which is torture enough. But listen to his hoof beat. We want a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 beat. We want him nice and even.
Okay.
And when you hear that, at the same time, you see his head go straight up and down. But so if it starts to get rough, you want to just slow him up a little bit. There you go. That actually looked pretty good.
That's nice.
That wasn't bad. Not bad at all. I'm seeing lots of freeze frames, which, believe it or not, is actually helping me. So I can look at where his footfall sequence and the support sequence is to his walk. This is awesome.
Oh, that was a big trip.
Yeah, there's a little trip there.
So was it, you said he was tripping with you a little, Brandon?
Yeah, and they all do to begin with. They're going to trip with you because they're not used to packing, you know, a 35, 40-pound saddle plus, you know, 235 pounds of Brandon.
Will he not walk quiet for you?
That's how he is, even outside.
Interesting. He just goes. Interesting.
Okay, well, you stopped him. Make him back up 10 steps, please. We can't just stop and just stand there. He's got to stop and back up. That will keep that nice, crisp stop on him when you do that. Okay. So we're going, when you feel him get rough, Sierra, then just slow him up just ever so much, and don't stay with constant pressure in his mouth. You just bump his mouth and let him go. And if he doesn't respond, you bump him again, let him go. Bump him again, let him go until you're actually walking at the speed you want to go with a loose rein.
Okay.
There will be 99.9% of people that'll tell you that you have to walk a walking horse with pressure in their mouth, and 99.9% of people are absolutely wrong. This is why my horses, when you teach them to control their body and control their speed and contain their own frame, they will be balanced, and then you will also have a good performance walk. I can't tell you the number of people that I've had, you know, little races with these guys in shows and out of shows, and when you do that and have them walking relaxed, they will walk better, faster, and they will stretch out and reach for you instead of being contained in what is called, you know, supposedly collected, which is nothing more than just your hands in their face and keeping them from going forward. Now, the question's asked, what does, and this is GSB-MO, I'm not sure who that is, I'm sorry.
Gabby.
Gabby, okay. She says, what does he mean by bump? With the reins or feet or question mark? And what I mean by that is strictly with just the reins. You just bump them because you're just trying to teach them a cue that when you bump their mouth, pardon me, you just want them to respond to that and slow up just slightly. And Bobcat Gal says a slight tug on the reins, and that is exactly right. With his, and try you just like you touch it and pull away. You do not hold into their mouth. You don't put any constant pressure. You just bump it and let it go. Now, I know we're scheduled for some time here, and we're about 20 minutes into it, so he's probably getting better about his head coming down a little more. It's hard to see.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But the more relaxed you are, the more relaxed he will be. And of course, this is a new arena, new everything here that we're doing with him. So, and he's had a few days off. I'm glad that you asked these questions because I'm not the best at articulating what I already know. So this helps. All right. So you're a little bit, looks to me, well, it's hard. We got freeze frame. A little bit more consistent on the speed. Is that, am I seeing that right?
Yeah, this is the speed he wants to go. Whoa. This is the speed he wants to go.
Okay.
Is that okay?
And what he will want to do, like every other horse, the speed they want to go is one that's probably the most relaxed for them, and they'll relax right into a stop.
And that's what you said is he walks fast at your place too.
Yes, he's good. So what we want to do is we want to work on this form. What I would do is just push him just a little bit, just slightly, make him move just a little bit more than he wants to, so that he's really having to engage his hind end. But remember, if he gets rough, then pull him back just a little bit and make sure that we have a really good even 4-beat gait.
So Brandon, is he a little short-strided in front, do you think? Is he not stepping on his front feet enough?
I really can't see very well. Because I get the freeze frame for that, for being able to do it. But he picks his feet up, his front feet up really well. He's not just picking them up and stretching and reaching them out. It doesn't look like. He's gonna have to get used to these shoes a little bit. They're only on when?
A couple days.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, a couple days.
Okay. And so you haven't seen him walk like this on his own out in the pasture.
Right.
So you've got a whole lot different type of proprioception with these front feet, with the where the placement and where he feels those feet are going. So it's a little different. They'll get used to it with his first set of shoes. It won't take long, but it does take a little bit of adjustment, especially at a little higher speeds.
Yeah, horses move completely differently without us on them. Even though, a horse walks in a pasture, a horse walks with a person, it's completely different, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Now, one of the things that I like to see, and that when I was out and dropped him off, we never got to go over because we really didn't spend much time on the gaiting portion, was if you feel that he's not moving into 4-beat gait and more of a pace, then we have to look at what we're doing to him. Are we holding his head up too high? Are we sitting too far back in the saddle? There's those kinds of issues.
He took a couple lame steps on the left front a little bit ago.
Is that a bad thing?
Huh?
Is that a bad thing with the gaited horse?
He took a couple what steps?
I thought he took a couple lame steps on the left front.
Oh, lame, yeah. Yeah, it feels weird.
But also, it's interesting too, is if a horse is not a horse, is not a horse, because a gaited horse, a lot of us, the walk is just the basic walk feels very different.
Yeah, you have to get used to what you can do on this horse and how their body moves, because it does feel differently.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, and what I can tell you, and which a lot of people who don't ride gaited horses, they don't like them because they've never been on them.
Right.
And they'll tell. I had a woman just tell me just a couple weeks ago how a gaited horse absolutely cannot run.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I can.
Like,
yeah, they can.
Yeah, exactly. You hear, but there's a lot of experts out there about gaited horses that have never been on a gaited horse, or they've been on one. So, take that for what it is. I will tell you this. When you're on a non-gaited horse and they've got, the breeding is for the heavier muscle, and what I'm more leaning towards is, say, our quarter horses.
Yeah.
They're heavier muscled. They don't move. They don't stretch. They're kind of like a weightlifter. And what Sierra's riding right now is more like a runner, a long distance runner. They don't have the huge muscle mass. They tend to have a little slower twitch muscle and not the fast twitch muscle that a quarter horse has.
Okay.
So when we work with them, we also have a little bit longer functional back, which means we can affect how that horse moves, whether the back is low or back has come up and is high. And so by causing some ventral flexion, there we go. I see her leaning forward a little bit or sitting up. This is really, really good. Then that you can actually throw that horse off and make them ventral flex and make them so that they are pacing instead of trotting.
Will you explain what you mean by ventriflexion?
With the back
up, okay.
Slowed down, and the ventral portion of the horse, the belly, is dropped.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's ventral flexion. So if you've got a horse that's pacey, you want to have less ventral flexion and more bascule. You want that back to come up so that they reach under them and they collect more with those hind legs. And so just where you sit on them can do that. If you have too short of stirrups and you're in a chair seat and you're sitting back on their back, you can cause a horse that's normally very well and evenly gaited or even trotty to pace.
Interesting.
Yeah. So where I'm getting at is there is a lot that is not understood by most horse people that don't ride gaited horses because they don't have to know about it. You're not going to change the basic gait of a non-gaited horse. You get a walk, maybe a little faster walk, a trot, and a lope, right?
Yep, right.
With these guys, you're going to have that slow walk or what we call a dog walk of a non-gaited horse, and then you can do everything from a flat walk to a running, which is just a faster, normal walk, like a quarter horse has, to a running walk, which is what we're trying to experience right here. You can be pacey, a stepping, which meaning both legs are going on the same side at the same time. Like a camel is very pacey. If you've ever seen a camel run,
that's right.
That's a pace or a stepping pace. And then you can get into the running walk or a foxtrot, which is just a trot with the front foot coming down before the opposite hind foot, and then into a full trot, and then into a lope. So there's a lot more gaits in here on a gaited horse that you can influence. And if you don't know what you're doing or you have not the awareness to that, you're not necessarily going to make that horse walk right. Or you can prevent them from walking right.
Right. Yeah, I think my favorite, you taught me, I think my favorite is the step pace.
You like the stepping pace?
I like the step pace, real smooth and fast, yes? Is that the one?
I was going to say, it's because you're a speed demon. You like that speed, and you will get there. And you know what? It depends on the horse's conformation, too. Some horses are conformed to be trotters or fox trotters, and some are more pacey horses. So,
is that the same breed of horse?
Pardon me?
Would the same breed of horse be more foxtrotty and more pacey in the same breed?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I've had foxtrotters that were fantabulous. That's my new word of the day.
That's nice.
That were fantabulous at a stepping pace, and the breed itself, just the very name of the breed, implies that it should not do anything but a foxtrot. That's what they want to do. But it's all about their conformation.
Oh. One step over there every time. Is this a two-step?
What is he doing now, Brandon?
Yeah, he looks like he's doing a pace. Oh,
yeah,
he went into a trot. He was pacing for a bit, and then he did a couple into a trot.
Now, my limited experience here with these walkers, it seems like the trot is one gait past a step pace. Is that true?
It's actually on the other side. So if you have the gait
other way,
you've got the running walk in the center, and you got a trot or fox trot is closer to a trot. If you slow them down enough, or you ventral, and that's with a raised back or the bascule to the back, you get for your trot. If you trot and then you do a running walk, they're nice and even, nice and flat, and all fours are working together at the same time. If then you start to ventral flex or drop that back down, you're going to uncollect, and the hind legs will come up as fast, and that's when you're going to start getting your pacing.
Running walk now.
I couldn't tell. We're behind the building.
I think so. I think it's a running walk.
That's a decent running walk.
Okay. He likes to move, doesn't he?
Okay. You're doing. Hey, Sierra. You're doing a great running walk, but then when he starts to get rough, he's starting to get into a stepping pace. So you just want to slow him up just slightly.
So, running walk, right there he's rough, so just slow him up right here.
Yeah, his head is high, so you want to drop his nose down, pull his nose, and keep your hands low, and make him drop his head.
Oh, there.
That will help him lift his back.
So when we're galloping up the hill there on these walkers who don't gallop, Brandon, what I notice is the paddling behind. And is that because they've dropped their belly? Is that why they're able to do that, or am I opposite?
No, if you're in a gallop or a lope.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch a non-gated horse,
yep,
they are moving more on a lateral. They too are moving at a lateral, but they're at a lope, a higher speed.
Okay.
Because if you'll notice, they picked a lead, right?
Yep.
And they're throwing one lead out there. Well, that lead in the back is also, or the hind leg is also in the same lead as the front is, which will put them more towards a lateral movement.
Right.
So a lope or a canter is the same whether you're gated or non-gated.
Right. I do notice that the gated horses swing their hind legs out to the side in a way.
Oh, yes.
Which, I mean, that by paddling, it looks like they're kind of swinging their back legs out to the side more than just straight.
Yeah, it depends on the horse. Not all of them will do that. I mean, some will, some won't. Your body influence can also, or your body can also influence that, right?
Right, right.
But that's when we let them out, we notice it the most. Nobody's on them.
Yeah, they might.
Let them out.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me how different gated and non-gated horses are.
Oh, that's a whole different ballgame.
Oh yeah, completely. I mean, headset, everything.
Yeah. Well,
it can be.
Again, that depends on who's on them.
Right.
Because if you'll watch, if I'm on a horse, I want that head to be nice and flat and relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh, that's funny. Bobcat Gal says that her dad described it as an egg beater. Yeah, exactly. But if that horse is relaxed, and not all horses are built the same either, right? This guy happens to have his head come up out of his shoulders a little higher than most. But when he's relaxed,
he does.
And moving forward, that head will come down, that back will come up, the neck will lay out flat, and he will walk like any other there's so often that when I'm holding a horse in and controlling them and containing them and getting the best walk, that their head is down, they look like any other horse.
Mm-hmm.
Bobcat Gal says I had a Tennessee Walker and he was not a cow horse one bit.
I'm sure you get funny chats.
Yeah, I've had good discussions with people about what's the best cow horse, and it's funny. I put a challenge out to people as a trainer, especially the guys that talk about their cow-bred horses, and that that's the way they're bred, and they will follow a cow. And it's like, you know what? That's not necessarily true, or not true, because if you keep a horse away from a cow their entire life, and they just expose them to them, and then you start training them, and then you go out, and the first thing you do is expose them to a cow when you're on their back. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to look at that like anything else, and they're going to and they may spook from it, or they may not. They certainly are not going to come up and rate that cow. So it's all learned. Some of them may or may not have more of an interest in it. I can tell you that.
Right. Have you bounced around enough, Sierra?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, just got to slow him up a little bit. So what we're trying to do early on here, and this is pretty repetitive, is just be really slow and get the best walk you can out of him. And if it's a little slower than we like, that's okay. Let's just find the best walk for him.
This is too slow, I bet.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll slow down to a stop. That's what they want to do. But if you can kind of push him, but not do it to where it's rough, hold him in that gait to where it's nice and smooth, yet not super slow, then we're going to build the form. Excuse me. It's like you doing something for the first time is going to be kind of rough and really not very efficient and be kind of kinky in how you do it. But the more you do it slowly, you're going to get a handle about how to do it better and better and better. And then as you get better at it with really good form, pretty soon the speed is going to pick up naturally, and that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, it's really rough, all of it, to me. I'm a quarter horse person. This is a whole new game.
Yeah, well, this should not be as rough as a quarter horse, I guarantee you.
Oh.
Hey, they're smooth to me.
Well, you got to get a better fine-tune. You got to fine-tune your butt here a little better. Yeah, you're moving too fast because he's in a pace.
Okay, right here?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, Brandon?
There you go. That's a little better.
He just is trip, 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 trip.
Yeah, he's going to have to get used to these shoes, and he's packing this weight. All 104 pounds of you.
Oh, yeah, right. I wish I was that skinny.
As far as I'm concerned, all women weigh barely over 100 pounds.
Oh, my God. Yeah, right.
That's how I keep myself from getting beaten.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
All right, that's much, much better.
Okay.
That's much better. Feel how smooth that is?
Yes, but he wants to walk faster than that for sure.
He does, but he's really comfortable being pacey. So we need to teach him that no, this is the speed that you're going to go, because we want you to have this really good form. And he's built for it. We're not asking him to do something that's not hard for him to do. Not bad. Bobcat and Gail says, you've not seen me then. Okay, fine. She's 97 pounds. All right. Are you feeling the consistency a little more now?
Yes. My back sure does.
Yes, exactly. Much better. Now look how more relaxed he is. And if you feel him start to move, even pick up the speed 1 foot, you correct him immediately and make sure he stays at that nice smooth gait. There, he tripped. Make him stay at that nice smooth gait. Don't let him go. Even take 3 or 4 steps is a no-no. We want to make sure he's absolutely contained in that gait and consistent in the speed, so that it's a smooth gait, not a rough gait.
There, that's nice. He looks like he's settling down a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like he is. Much better. All right. Now we've got all the sillies out of us and all of the speed out of us, and you feel how much more consistent he is?
Yeah.
Feel how his head is a little bit lower overall. It comes up.
Level.
Yes. Now he's starting to settle down and not having to think he's got to run through all of it. So let's just keep going a little bit more consistent each direction. And as long as you're doing something, I'm going to shut up and let you tell me what you feel.
Oh God. Oh, that's Kelly. I'm like, what is that noise?
It's me?
Your finger's on the microphone.
Oh, sorry, everyone.
It's okay. I feel like Tennessee walkers, their back feels hurt as well when they're moving. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, the wind was going. I couldn't hear you real well.
I feel like on Tennessee walkers, their back is long, like it's a longer stride in the back, almost. Is that why you want me to sit more forward?
Yes.
To help him? Okay.
Yes, absolutely, yes. They have a longer functional back, and so they are able to reach up underneath of them a little bit further and get that overstep. That's where you get your speed and your efficiency of your gait, of your movement. But if you sit back on them, then you can impede that and prevent that leg from coming forward and cause them to ventral flex and not flex.
Okay. When he trips, he instantly wants to pick up that pace just because he gets more of his head because he pulls it out of my hands when he trips. But that's the only time. Otherwise, he's doing pretty good.
Okay, and you can't fault him for that. He's got to try to catch himself. That's all right. He just has to learn to keep this new weight, and you know, I don't know what happened with his shoes or how he shot. I mean, that's a whole nother clinic right there, just in the shoeing of gated horses. If you're into shoeing them to a certain degree, which is, I can argue that you don't want to do that.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, he's nice and humble. He's trying to raise his head over bike, but which is understandable. He's trying to get excited, but staying with me. See, there's his head up a little bit.
There we
But
go.
once you're past him, he goes right back down.
Yeah, he's seeing something. He's like, what? You know, a little awareness there. That's all right.
He's very good about moving off my leg, though. I do appreciate that. Every once
He
in
is
a while,
moving off your leg?
Yeah, every once in a while I have to bump him with the rein, but otherwise he is he is staying off of my leg pretty good.
Oh, good. Very good. You should, yeah. Well, that's going to be up to you to reinforce that and keep that going, or he'll get rusty on it.
Yeah, I'd rather keep it going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like he's a little off still. Do you see that, Kelly? Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's just every once in a while, and then it's multiple steps, and then he walks it out.
Did he pick that near side front up about 3 different times there, a little bit more likely to trying to take some weight off it?
This front right?
Front left is what I saw, but
Okay, the front right, I keep getting the tripping the most and the most off, I feel. But the front left, he might be picking up more.
yeah, that's what I mean. He was picking that leg up more.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's always a possibility that, maybe as he was getting shot, if he was moving around a bunch, he could have gotten the nail a little bit.
Yeah, a little sore.
Yeah, that's possible. I'm not saying it is. I mean, you just got to think of all the possibilities.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm just kind of sitting in a freeze frame here for a minute, but at this freeze frame, he's had a perfect form for a 4B gate.
Good. Okay.
Just for the record, we're working in the arena here,
Yes.
which is okay, but it's convenient for us. We can do this. But I rarely work in a arena like this, or I certainly don't when I'm training. I've got these horses out, in a large pasture, or I'm out taking a ride on them. So I try to keep them at this, and get them to watch where they're putting their feet when they are moving forward in real time.
Yes. Outside
that
experience
teaches
is
them,
much better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It teaches them to watch and put their feet where they're supposed to be.
Well, and desensitizes them to a whole heck of a lot more than just going in the same place and making them arena sour.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I don't want to push this too hard. You're doing really, really well. Looks like you got a lot more control. Looks like you're a lot smoother than you were, even at a little bit faster speed than what he wants to go.
Do a little faster now?
No, I think you have been going a little faster than what he's wanting to go.
Yes, so he either wants to go fast or slow enough that he can just halt.
Right. And you're making him stay a little bit with some speed, yet and walking well, and that's what you want to do. That's exactly the right place to be with him.
Yeah, I want to get places. Some of these guys get a little lazy.
Right, absolutely.
They're smart.
Yeah, and Monty, yes. He's our study in how to do the least with the most amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Brandon, I'll be able to take him out on a lot of the rides, drag on him and practice leading with him and stuff like that. He's actually really sure-footed. He pays close attention to what he's doing.
Yeah, he's very aware on the trail, but he's young, he's new,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so he's not really, I couldn't call him by any stretch of the imagination sound and really practiced to be able to be consistent on him. So
Yes.
Good job, nice turn, and he stayed in gait. Yep, good, very good. A little bit. Oh yeah, I'm starting to think you're getting a little pacey, but I've seen those footfall sequence has been really nice, and you should be quite smooth.
Yeah, it's smoother.
Okay. Well, then if it's not super smooth, then slow him up just a little bit more and make him collect.
Okay.
Now, what you might have to do is if he slows way down, then go ahead and give him a bump with that bit, but then squeeze him forward a little bit with your legs so that you force him to collect that hind end.
And you can tell he's young because when he collects, it's a bobble, like he wants to collect and have
That's
that
right.
release, which is fine because I'll give it to him.
Right.
But he instantly, drops and then you have to drop. I don't know if you can see that on video, but.
I can. I can see it. I'm putting it together. I get the freeze frames, but I can see it happen at times. And I just pick his head up. Yep. And this is all about, you know, setting him up to do the right thing. And then when he doesn't do the right thing, you know, discourage it, but then encourage him when he does what you want. And I talk to these horses a lot. I praise them. I talk to them, and they do respond to that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You're doing really well. Okay. I think what we want to do, we've been at this now, believe it or not, about 35, 40 minutes. So I think let's kind of unwind him a little bit and give him something else to think about. And I like that you are going over the bridge and you're doing some turns. That's really, really good. If you wouldn't mind going to the far end of the arena right underneath the osprey nest.
Yes.
And then stopping and then backing him all the way up to the bridge.
Okay.
Let's give him a little bit something different to work on, but still discipline, and then stop and then immediately back up. And try to do it as light as you possibly can so he just comes willingly.
He's light in the bridle for sure.
Yes, he should be. I'm a big ugly bugger, but I got pretty light hands. Okay, see how you're coming at a 45 to the left?
Yes, I'm pushing on my left now to get his hind back around. Is that okay?
There you go. Good job. Yes.
Okay. I just didn't want to do it without telling you what I was doing.
Yeah,
you can do reverse arcs as well. He did very good.
Good. So yeah, and we're just taking a few minutes to kind of get his mind off of walking forward, because you're absolutely right about arena soured horses. I mean, it happens so fast. It's like us being stuck in a cubicle for, 8-10 hours a day. We don't like it either. And pretty soon we either accept it and can move and work through it with our mind distracted, or you don't ever get used to it.
He's a little leggy on turns, like right here, he's pulling on me.
Yeah.
There, I'll let go when he gets the slack. But I mean, otherwise, he's trying. He just wants to go over there. There, he's off my leg. So I mean, he wants to try, for sure.
Yeah, he tends to turn very well to the left or to the right, and a little sticky to the left.
Okay, so right is good. That's what you said?
Yes, correct.
So he still wants to, there we go. And it doesn't help all of his buddies are out here.
Yeah, that's the other part of that.
Good.
Okay. One of the things I noticed you just did when you made that turn, you kept your shoulders square and straight up above him instead of leaning into him like a bicycle.
Okay.
And that helps. So
Oh,
there
okay.
yeah,
that was a good thing.
I'm like,
you
Okay.
you started to turn there, and your shoulder was way dropped, and you just corrected yourself.
oh, cool.
So don't drop your shoulder. Just keep your body straight up above it. It's going to feel like you're going to come out on the opposite side of the saddle from the turn, but you're going to affect a much better turn. You're kind of getting in his way on the turn.
Yeah. There you go.
Better?
Oh, yeah. And when he tries to turn, he really tries. I mean, he'll get
Yes.
off the rein right away.
Yes, exactly. All right, I got dogs barking in the background.
I thought it was your alarm clock.
Wolfie, can you hear that?
Yes.
We got people. I'm doing some road work out here, having them put some gravel down for us, and they think it's a new truck every time. All right, you're looking really, really good, Sierra.
Perfect. Thanks.
Very good. And you know what? And I'm giving you a lot to do here, but let's put everything in perspective for everybody. And that is that, you're on a gaited horse that you have not ridden all that much to try to really do well in the gait, or to try to correct them or to contain them in a gait. So, you're starting out yourself really learning a lot, right? I would think you'd agree with that.
Gaiting is a huge difference.
Yes, it is. There is a ton to it. So, and never have you got two horses that are almost, identical. So you're working with that horse and their ability, and to try to work on that to get the best gait out of them. Now, that doesn't mean that a running walk is the best gait out of horse. It may be a specific pace, it may be a foxtrot. So you have to work with that animal. But this guy will walk. He's got a really good running walk.
Oh, yeah. He's done great today. A lot of walking he's done.
A lot of walking. He could have walked to Tennessee by now.
And remember, start slow and be slow. And this is the part that it's tough for me to do as well. Oh, good stop, good back. Is to be slow about it with really good form, because I really want to get the speed out of him right away. And so I have to really force myself to go slower with good form, yet still pushing them faster than what they want to do, because you're trying to build that muscle memory into the nice, even 4-beat gait. And right. I ride with my ears when I'm training to gait more than anything. I feel it, but I listen for those footfall and when they hit the ground.
Do you recommend going around the arena before we head out on the trail? What about coming in here? Maybe it's not a good idea. Coming in here and getting the even beats before you head out, or would you want? Is it better to find it out there? Yeah,
do both. If it helps you here to really do it while you're alone, or just this horse, or you're really working with him, right, before you go out, do it. That really sets you up that you already are having him listen to you, and respond to you. And his head has come down. He's relaxed now. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that might be a good idea. I wanted to run it by you, though, to kind of just, get our heads together before we go out and have a good starting place.
Well, and you really should, because again, remember, he's a young horse. He's not got a ton of rides on him, so he's still learning. He's still searching for that consistency that we will either provide for them, or we'll let him get away with whatever he wants. And that's, as a trainer, you've got to make him do what you want him to do. Early on, right? Yes, absolutely.
Boy, but he is such a good, honest guy. It's amazing.
He is, yeah. He really tries hard for you.
And you hear about the horses that want to please you, and that's him.
Yep, it is. And I it didn't take much to when I was on his back with taking a slicker, a noisy nylon slicker, and just flopping it back and forth. I think you guys saw that. Yeah. And at first he didn't like it, but you know what? I don't expect any of them to like that. I mean, it's a matter of teaching them that it's all right, and then tolerating it. All right. You know what? I think we're probably out of time by the time we're done.
It's a good stopping
You've done
place.
a great job. I would, if you're doing this on your own, Sierra and Kelly both, if you're both taking him out, having both of you ride him at different times is really, really good. As long as you're both doing the same thing and really making him stay at a good gait and slowed down so it's very, very good with the form, not just getting speed, but really make him slow down and walk well, which is, again, the frustrating part, but that's what we're working on.
Yeah.
You will be surprised how fast the speed will come when the form is what it should be.
Whenever you stop, back him up a little.
You can mount or dismount on him either way. Yep.
Oh, good question. Here's a good question. She stopped and I asked her to back, but she was going to get off. So you want to back every time you stop?
Every single time you stop, back up at least 5-6 steps.
Okay.
But always vary it. If you go back 20 steps, that's okay. But every time a little bit. I don't want them to be consistent about how many steps. We're only going to take 4 steps because they'll learn to count to 4, and then it's hard to get 5 steps out of them.
Yeah, you don't want it to be predictable, right?
Right. You want to be very, very, very consistent in your inconsistency.
I can do that.
All right. Well, let's give it I'll give you a couple of minutes. I think we're going to do Augie next for a little bit, right?
I'll be your groom. I'll take your horse.
Now, are we going to do Augie here in a minute?
Yeah, we're going to do Augie right now. Okay. Unless do you want to go off for 5 minutes, or do you want to just continue it? Okay.
No, let's just continue it. I might talk my wife into bringing me a cold water or something.
I could use a Coke, Mrs.
She just told me
Carpenter.
no.
Oh.
She'll probably get that for you, but she won't get me a water.
So we're going to be over and we're going to walk over and we're going to just go straight over into the round pen.
Okay, that sounds good. We won't work as long with Augie because, you know, he's young. It's probably, you guys are talking what, probably 85 over there today?
Yeah.
Or more.
More. It was 100 yesterday. It was 100 yesterday.
Oh God, and that's another thing. If it's there are days when it's too hot, I won't work a horse.
Mhm.
You know, not later in the day, in the morning or late evening, yeah, but not in the heat of the day. It's they get grouchy, grumbly, and so do I. You know, I mean, you got to kind of work with them, especially when you're training.
It's hard to learn math when you're exhausted and going into heat stroke.
That's right.
So something else I'm thinking intuitively should be done is when we're done. Okay. Is that, you know, when we're done, we're not done. I'm going to walk him around and, you know.
Yeah. Do this one thing now. When I picked him up after the winter, he was extremely pushy.
Okay.
I mean, very pushy. So I really had to get really tough on him. He would run right over the top of you or run past you. So if you just lead him out, and so where he's relaxed and you're relaxed, and then just stop and back straight back up, we want him to back away from you.
Okay.
We want him to watch and then just back away, right up with you or away from you. And if he doesn't, make him do it.
All right.
It's tough on him. If you have to kind of slap him on the chest, that's fine. Hey, weather update. Bobcat Gal says it's 87 degrees in Lolo.
87. Thanks, Bobcat.
Now, is she a transplant from Bozeman to Missoula or what?
No, where are you now, Bobcat? No, she's is she actually in Pasco or something? Where is she? She'll pipe up.
She says YW.
Wyoming?
That's WY. I thought the same thing.
YW.
Oh.
Okay, she lives in Pasco. She graduated from MSU.
There you go. Oh, Bobcat. That's where the Bobcat comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She wants to be enemies with us Missoula people.
See, when I was in Missoula going to school, I was a Grizz fan.
Ah.
But but my wife has got her master's from Bozeman, and I got one boy graduated from Bozeman, another one about to graduate. So I've got way more tuition spent in Bozeman. And come on, let's be honest, you guys. They're not as hippy-dippy as you guys are. So go Cats.
I'm staying out of it.
I'll get in it. I promise.
Okay, walk forward with him. Let's watch him walk off with you, and then stop whenever you feel like it, and back right straight up. There we go. That's better.
There's a big exercise we do in school that you do, just teaching them respect when you stop. Count up to 10 and then count down. So you walk forward 10, you step back 10, you walk forward 9, up 9. Just to teach them to stop when you stop and give them that space, not get in your space and on you.
That's right. That's a very good exercise to use. It gives you some discipline of when to do it, but make sure that what I do is I walk and I stop, and then I go backwards just as fast as I went forward without stopping and standing and still. I want that horse to watch me and then respond to my movement the other direction.
Right.
Well, Celia liked all of the Bobcat Grizz banter here, and
Celia's a troublemaker.
Yeah, well, Bobcat Gal says that we've won the last 2 Cat Grizz games. That's true.
That's a first, though, for a long time.
Oh, you can't do the 1960 National Championship. You can't throw that one up all the time because now we've got more than you do.
Yes.
Okay.
He's anticipating it now, Kelly.
I know.
He's pulling on you.
I know.
He is. Yes, he is.
So I should walk until he doesn't, right?
Right. Until he relaxes and just forgets that what you're gonna. There you go. Very good.
And last time he turned his nose to me, so I gave him a little poke.
That's perfect. That's fun. Whatever it takes to make him wake up and watch you. That's the whole point, that he's anticipating not what you're gonna do, but that he's always anticipating that you're gonna do something different, and that he has to comply with that.
Yeah. That way his attention's always on me too.
That's what you want. Absolutely. That's better. And I know it's kind of difficult, and it's kind of the nature of where we're at with things. But you guys have got a lot of people handling the horses. So, and even with him not being really trained, there's a lot of people that were playing with him and stuff, and they get used to getting to be connivers and just checking out what they can get away with.
Sure.
And so if we're not super consistent, then they're like a little 2-year-old kid. You give them an inch, and then pretty soon they've got all your cookies.
Right.
All right, good job. And I would still turn him on his hinds and fours on the ground like that. I mean, You're just refreshing things that he already knows, but it just keeps him consistent.
So just a lot of little everything, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. You just refresh on everything that you do, but you take a turn with him on either side with turning on the fours, one turn, and then turning on the hinds. He should be able to do it very, very well. It shouldn't take much for him to do it. Okay, so instead of flipping that rope for him to move away from, let's have him move away from you. Don't give him a cue. He needs to move away from you. He needs to be aware of where you're at. There, that's better. Then he'll stay more responsive, because now if he gets used to just moving with a rope.
Right, I'll have to always have the rope.
Then you always got to have the rope. Exactly. Very good. Much better. Look at that. Good job. Good job. All right. Yeah, if you do that when you start and then at the end, you're always having to think about that you are in charge. You're working him, and then you work him on his back, and he'll be the same way. He'll be responsive to you, or much easier to be able to correct him if he's not responsive.
Right. That makes sense.
All right. Are we ready with Augie?
I guess so. I have a roll call to out. Hey, Sierra?
I'm right here.
You,
I'm fixed in a stirrup. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're getting a ride out, too, so.
I'm right here.
Have you guys been working on Augie this week at all, or last couple of weeks?
Not much. Out in the pasture a little bit.
Okay.
But now we're consistent now.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know we talked about, being more structured in what we're going to do, and that's why we're starting up here in the, beginning of August so we can do this. So.
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted to wait until we had another, till we were regularly scheduled with Sierra and me and you and.
You bet. No, this makes it much better. It builds consistency for the horse too. That's what's important.
Yeah, otherwise it's, but this will be interesting.
Okay. Now, you remember what I've said about the round corral and the size of it.
Yes.
And I know you guys are doing pony club and you got all kinds of other stuff with a little bit larger round corral, but for working a horse, that smaller 30-foot round corral is going to serve you much better. So if you start to struggle with this, you may have to just say, okay, I need to take a couple panels out here to shorten this thing up.
I can take one out now if you want.
Well, let's see. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It looks 30. How big is it? 35 or something?
Maybe 40.
Maybe 40.
You got 9. You got 9 of them at 12 foot long, right?
I don't think they're 12.
Those are a normal panel.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, they're not 10s. So
sure?
what's
A 10 is that really small one, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the gate one's 10.
So you got about one extra panel, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
You'll probably be all right. Yeah, you're at about 33 feet or so. 34 feet. I think it'll be all right. He's a little bit smaller because remember, if you're dealing with a large horse, you're going to want a little bit larger corral.
Mm-hmm.
Little small Shetland or something, you're going to want something even smaller. But how has he been with the respect and getting in your space? It looks like he just tried to.
Still have to work on it.
On my space.
Okay, yeah, it looked like he's working you a little bit, but that's.
And he's still so passive aggressive. He's so passive. Leading him, he's so passive aggressive. He's like.
Okay. Well, and he's not going to give that up easily either, because he's been able to have some spoils with this, and that is whatever he wants.
Mhm.
So we need to change that mind before we start working on him, formally as he gets older, and really having a horse that's pushy and dangerous.
Mhm.
And he's going to be a big boy.
Yeah. Oh, Ranch Hand Watersani, everybody.
Okay, so you're giving him some pets, you're stroking him a little bit, and that's perfect. There's nothing wrong with that at all. We want to have some of that really nice interaction, tactile. Hey, I'm here with you. I'm part of the herd, and we're doing good.
Yeah.
You're going to respect me, and we'll go on. So when you're petting him like that, things are great, and then you step away a step, and he comes towards you. When he comes up and tries to interact with you and initiate that interaction, then
Look at him now.
Push him off. And if you have to pop him, and I mean like backhand him on the soft part of his nose or mouth to do that, we have to do that. I mean, we don't like it, but you know what? He's at this point now where he's making decisions to push on you, and that is absolutely the first start of one of the 4 aggressive moves that a horse will make. There you go. Good. And we're almost setting him up to we're inviting him to be bad, and that's okay. You know what? If he comes up there and keeps his distance just like he's doing now, that's fantastic. That's what we want. But if we stroke him a little bit, walk off, and then he comes up and puts his head on us, we want to absolutely discipline him for that, because he should just walk up and then stay at the same distance he is from you now.
Yeah.
So we need to change that mindset of him as how far he can come into you.
And now he's relaxed, totally.
He's doing really well. And we'll have to obviously do this on both sides. I like how you walked around him. That's great. There we go. He sniffed you, and now he's walking in. He's gonna shift. As long as he stands there, I'm okay with this. He's a little tiny bit in your bubble, but he's not rubbing on you, and that's good.
Mhm.
But I liked how you did walk around him. You know, you put your hand on him. You're touching him. That's fantastic. There we go. I like what he's doing.
Good.
I mean, and this is like watching paint dry. I know, but you know, this is good work for him because you can tell he's watching you, he's listening to you. He really wants to go in there and get a pet.
Oh, he really wants it so bad.
He's a smart guy.
Okay, keeps checking to see if he can, for sure.
Yep. And it's all about, what's the one word we talk about?
My face?
Consistency.
And your face.
Enough.
And your face.
Got to be consistent. Absolutely consistent. Bobcat Gal says the attention span of an ant. I usually call it a gnat.
Yeah.
I think ants will act with purpose. Gnats are just all over the place. It's good to see Celia on here too. I haven't got to see you guys for a long time.
I'm doing a wasp inspection.
They're really bad over there, the Schuer said.
I'm doing a wasp inspection. As soon as we're done, I'll get the spray out, unless you want that to be part of his desensitization.
No.
Okay.
Oh, spraying by? I thought you meant the wasp as a demonstration. No.
No, I'm not going to spray him now.
Oh, there, good job. Push him away. Good job. Okay. Now, one of the things I would have you do is, you notice how you were in his space to push him around and his head was turned out to the left?
Yes.
And then what you did is you backed away from him. You got out of his space.
him.
Is that what you're doing? You're inviting him?
Yeah, so, right, when you back up, you invite. When you push, you're pushing them.
Yeah, except that when, you know, you pushed him away and then you didn't spend much time there, you backed off. I would have spent a little bit more time and make him kind of straighten his body out, because obviously he's flexed on one side a little more than the other, so he's not balanced and not at ease. That would have been a really good chance for you to let him completely step away from you, and then when he relaxed, that he pushes his front end away from you to relax. I would have just spent a little more time on it, and then make sure that he relaxes, but he does it away from you, and then invite him back in. I think you're about halfway there. Does that make sense to you? Am I saying that right?
Oh yeah, no, that totally does.
Okay. No, you're doing a great job. Don't get me wrong. You're doing a really good job. It's just really go the extra mile and be a real Nazi about making them move away from you and stay away from you. And then you're right. You want them to invite back in without touching you, but do that after he's already relaxed, because the way he was able to relax is that for you to get out of his space and come back towards you.
Okay.
He's doing better than I thought he would.
I kind of agree.
Well, and his hobby doesn't want to move much too, right?
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Look, here he comes.
He's wanting to. He's looking.
He's wanting to. He is it's an insidious little guy, you know. Well, we have history, you know.
Yeah, it's his little. He's making him bleed to death by small cuts.
Yes, he is. Hi, honey. How are you?
You don't want his
come
answer.
Back over.
Oh, see, going to Kelly.
Okay, now it's up to Kelly to be really good about this. Oh, okay. You're already backed up.
I already had backed up, yeah. I got nothing out of her. I'm going to go try Sierra again.
You tell me what you want me to do, Brandon.
You know what I would do? I was just going to say, if I would go up and make contact with him and stroke him on the neck, and then see if he'll follow you back into the middle of the corral, and stop, reestablish a spot where you don't want him to touch you, and see what he does.
Okay.
See if he keeps his distance. Yeah, you're inviting him in. You're doing a great job. There he comes. And part of it is that, there we go. Part of it is he needs to know that just because he comes in there, he's not going to get pet every time. They're right there. Now just hold your ground when you find a spot. There you go. And the second he gets too close to you, then, because you've already established that you're in there and you've made a relationship, he doesn't have to come and smell you again. He needs to come up and keep his distance.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? What's the difference between establishing, that he's talking to you, and now you're there and he still has to maintain his distance even though he's been away from you? Because he will use that coming up and smelling you every time if he can get away with it.
He's trading on his good looks is what he's doing too,
Oh,
so.
of course. He's really doing well. Can you move him around the corral a little bit?
Yep.
Let's put him to some use. Make him work a little bit, and see if he resists you much.
Look what he knows from last time. It's okay.
Contact.
I just told you no.
He wants to turn his butt right into us.
Yep. He's wanting to just tell you, he's wanting to just resist you, and by going the other direction no matter what. All he's doing is trying to call shots.
That's not going to happen today.
Good for you.
Don't forget Sierra has a toddler.
Right.
Yes.
You got two toddlers. You're working with one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
You know what? Really, and the truth of it is exactly the same.
So I tried to ask him to turn towards it, so I'm reapplying the pressure.
Okay.
Better. He's watching me a little bit still.
Okay, now what I would do, now back up a little bit more. Go back to the center of the arena. There you go. Go to the center and see what he does. Looks like he's chewing, licking a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, good. See if he drops his head. There we go. Oh, that's just a fly. There's a drop. Very good. Very good. Now he's going to be a little resentful, so he probably won't come into you. I'll be surprised if he does.
Up, up, up.
You start thinking about it. Go
Yeah.
boy. Good job.
Now, here's where you have to make a decision about consequences, because if you let him come in, that's okay. But later on, when we really start some more formal work, we're not going to want him to come in until we actually tell him to come in.
No, and I just wanted him to face me more or less.
Yeah. No, there we go. Very good. Good job.
stopped by all of his buddies.
Any distraction is a good excuse not to work. Very good. Very good. I like how you're stopping him away from his buddies. That's really, yeah. It's really good. It's a very powerful tool psychologically to stop him away from where he wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good of you to do that. It's, you know, this whole thing is nothing but psychology.
Oh, definitely. He was losing interest, so I just kept him. Now I'm gonna move again.
I noticed. Yeah, he put his head up over the top of the rails, like, nah, I don't want to have to deal in reality here. Very good. Very good. You kept him moving, even though he wants to hang up. He shouldn't move it or shouldn't stop until you tell him to stop.
I'm going to have to turn off my mic and headset for just a second. I have some folks at the office.
Okay.
Can I do that, Jake, without any? Oh, it's Jake. Never mind. Jake's handling it.
There we go.
Nice.
I like how
he's thinking.
Yes, exactly. I like how he slowed down, and he slowed his thinking down, so he slows his body down.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Well, we're looking for relaxed forward movement, basically, right?
Yeah.
Unemotional.
More controlled, right, Sierra?
Yes, that's what I'm aiming for right now. Is his attention mainly, and him just making sure he's staying with me, not against me. Okay, now he's losing interest again, so I'm going to keep him busy. He has to learn that when he takes his interest off me, it's going to be more work.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly right.
That makes sense.
That's exactly right. And we're actually pushing him a little harder than we normally would, you know, a horse that we've got in formal training, you know, comparatively so. You know, he's still such a baby, but he still needs to learn the discipline. He needs to watch you, and that's what's important. You know, we're a little bit behind the game with him, you know, just because of where we were with him a year ago, right? He foaled. Mm-hmm. Because he's what now, 14 months?
Something like 15? May 15th, yeah, something like that. He was born May 3rd, May 7th?
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that.
All right.
He still has one eye on me and one eye on his friends, if you can see that, Kelly.
I can. It's like, look at his ears.
As long as he's still got that eye on you, if you were to move, he would respond to you, I'll bet, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's what, okay, and if that's what you're seeing, then he's got his attention, and you're doing exactly what you wanted to do. I like where you're at. I like what you're doing here.
Okay. Do you want me to change directions again, Brandon?
Yeah, let's change directions. Let's go the other way a little bit, and then we'll see. He should kind of
very nice.
Settle down right away, or no, we'll take as long to settle down.
That's
and then
great.
Let's work again. Go right back to the space issue and him staying out of your way and out of your space, and then see how he does with that.
He's catching on too. When I
take catching on really fast.
Instantly he's, you know, trying to relax.
Good. That's a good thing. I mean, if he's relaxed this way on this side, but still attentive to you, that's exactly what we're looking for. So we don't want to cause him now to not be relaxed. So we don't want to beat this to death. He's doing what you want. We praise him for it, and we take the pressure off. And I think what we want to do then is go up to him. You know, when you're ready, give him a second, and then pet him, have him come to the center with you, and then see if he invades your space. If he doesn't, I'd call it a done lesson. He almost shifted away from you. Is that what I saw?
Yes, he pushed his head away from me.
Good. So he's learning some space here.
Nice.
Very good.
How often do you want us to do these kinds of things? I mean, the personal space I know every time we go out there. But what about bringing him in here? How often would you like us to do that?
You know, he's young. If you did that once, twice a week at the most.
So maybe one time without you, and then every Thursday. So like Monday and Thursday.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't do it a lot. He's young. What we want to do is just have really good. When you do this, and I think this has been a very, very good session for him. He's been very good. And as long as you're getting good results, you don't want to beat it to death, but you want to refresh on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want him to get sour. You don't want him to, every time he sees you, being like, oh my God, now I got to work so hard. I mean, that's not what we want.
Right. Like those of us who show up here to work, you know, it's like, oh God.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I'm teasing.
I think Katie's feeling that way.
All right, go ahead. Let's move him to the other side of the corral, just 180 degrees from where you're at. Make him stop and see if he'll make him see if he'll come to you, or you can go to him, and then if he'll stay out of your way again. Good job. Good stop.
Sorry.
There, and he's facing me.
Sorry.
Very good. That's very good. You know, and you may only need to do this once a week.
Okay, we'll do it on Thursday. But of course, the personal space stuff we'll of course do whenever we have to enter his pasture or move him.
Oh, absolutely. Every time you handle him, you need to do it right. But you don't have to put him in here formally and do what we're doing with him right now. I mean, this is very good work. He's been look at him stand right there. He's doing exactly what we want him to do. And if that's what he's going to do, you know, you've really used the magic wand on him, and you've gotten a lot out of what you're looking for. You've almost accomplished everything you'd want, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So the only thing I would do.
Go ahead.
What I would do is I would go ahead and progress a little bit and maybe start picking his feet up.
Okay.
You know,
he's been trimmed a bunch of times.
But with space, he tries to get after people's backs. I've seen him.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Change it up, and if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, then you discipline him for it.
Like when you pick up this, Kelly, usually he'll turn his face into your back.
Okay.
That's how a shoer gets bit, and they don't like you anymore.
I see.
Yeah.
Right, Calvin? We talk about shoers getting bit.
You don't like that.
Getting bit anywhere is not fun, but that back seems to be more sensitive than one realizes. Very good. Very
he wants
good.
to fall on you.
He does want to fall on you.
I see him laying on you.
Just a baby. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's not malicious. He's not trying to mess with you. He just can't figure out how to stand on 3 legs.
Sorry, you can hear the people going on a ride.
That's all right. That's okay. I'm just watching you and watching him, and I think, you know, he hasn't attempted to even
turn back
and like he's going to smell you. That's fantastic.
Okay. You need to have your hands closer to his mouth.
There you go.
Then if you pull back, if they're too long, then you don't have anywhere to go. Okay.
I'm just trying to help him stand himself up.
Yep.
There.
Push.
Good boy.
Alrighty.
And I don't release until he gets off of me because he's laying all the way on me.
Yeah, he needs to be supporting himself and relaxed.
Yes.
Absolutely right. I agree with you.
Pull.
You know what, you guys? I think this has been a good, honest evaluation of him and where he's at. I mean, I think you've come a long way in the couple weeks since I've been there.
Oh yes, immensely.
Hard.
Especially for a little dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's not so little in his head. He thinks he's the king of everything.
Well, yeah, he learned to use his weight against us all.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, I think yeah. Let's just do this once a week, and we'll just kind of progress. And I bet you, what we'll see next time is him when you lead him, kind of being slow to lead and maybe slow to back up. But let's work on that next time. This is a big leap right now. Oh, ha, ha. Celia says typical male.
She said that? Celia.
That's funny. But no, let's work on that next time. We'll do more of this, and then maybe start holding him up with a halter and lead, and have him back up just like we were working with Mystery, because we want him to be responsive.
Perfect.
All right, you guys. Yeah, this has been like about 25 minutes or so, which is
good.
In the heat that you've got and the age you've got with him and some of the issues, I think this is a really good spot to stop.
Good. Thanks, Brandon.
Hey, you bet. And
so enjoy your ice water and your air conditioning.
Yeah, I'm going back out in it right now, sweetheart. So
awesome.
don't get too lippy with me.
Don't give you too much lip. What I'm here for.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going in now.
Good to see you, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Bye.
Thanks, Brandon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, everybody. Thanks. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.